Most people don't fail because they are incapable. They fail because they delay. They delay their dreams, their plans, their decisions, and then one day they wake up wondering where all the time went. Jack Ma often reminded the world that today is difficult, tomorrow is even more difficult, but the day after tomorrow is beautiful. Yet most people give up tomorrow evening. That tomorrow evening is called procrastination. It is where dreams slowly suffocate. You already have plans. You already know what you should be doing. The problem is not lack of knowledge. It is lack of action. You keep telling yourself that you'll start when the timing is perfect, when you feel confident, when the conditions improve. Jack Ma started Alibaba without money, without experience in technology, and without support from people around him. If he had waited to feel ready, nothing would have happened. Readiness is not something you wait for. It is something you build while moving. Procrastination often disguises itself as preparation. You think planning more will protect you from failure, but in reality, it protects you from growth. Jack Ma failed exams repeatedly, was rejected by universities, and turned down for jobs, including KFC. Yet he didn't delay his belief in himself. He understood that failure is part of the process, but delay is a decision to stay stuck. Every time you postpone action, fear grows stronger and confidence becomes weaker. Fear is natural. Even Jack Ma admitted he was scared many times, but fear did not stop him. Hesitation does. When you delay, your mind starts exaggerating risks. The task feels bigger, the obstacles feel heavier, and your self-doubt multiplies. Action, even small action, breaks that cycle. Once you move, fear loses control. You don't defeat fear by thinking about it. You defeat it by doing the thing you're afraid of. Jack Ma believed in taking small steps consistently. He didn't wait to build something perfect. He focused on making progress. Procrastination convinces you that if you can't do everything at once, you should do nothing at all. That thinking destroys potential. Success is built from small decisions made daily, not from big plans postponed endlessly. One phone call today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. One page written today is better than a book never started. Time is the most dangerous thing to waste because once it's gone, it never returns. Jack Ma often emphasized that poor thinking focuses on excuses, while successful thinking focuses on solutions. Saying you'll start later is an excuse that feels safe but costs you your future. You say you don't have time, yet hours disappear on distractions. You say you're tired, yet your mind never rests because deep down you know you're avoiding something important. Every plan you delay is silently shaping your identity. You are training yourself to quit before you start. Over time, procrastination becomes a habit, and habits become character. Jack Ma didn't allow circumstances to define him. He understood that opportunities don't wait for perfect moments. They appear when people are bold enough to act. Look around you. Someone with less talent than you is moving faster because they decided to start. Someone with fewer resources is winning because they refuse to wait. The world does not reward intention, it rewards execution. Your ideas have no value until they are acted upon. Your dreams mean nothing without movement. Stop asking yourself if you're ready. Stop waiting for motivation. Motivation follows action, not the other way around. Jack Ma didn't wake up motivated every day. He woke up committed. Commitment means acting even when you don't feel like it. That is the difference between people who talk and people who build. Now is the moment to decide, not tomorrow, not after one more plan, right now. Take the step you've been avoiding. Make the call, start the project, write the first line, launch the idea. Fail if you must, but do not delay. Strong call to action. If this message speaks to you, don't just listen, act. Pause the excuses. Close the gap between who you are and who you want to become. Do one thing today, that your future self will thank you for. Share this message with someone who keeps delaying their dreams, and then prove to yourself that you are not one of them. Start now. Most people don't fail because they lack intelligence, talent, or opportunity. They fail because they keep postponing the life they want to live. Procrastination doesn't look dangerous at first. It feels harmless, even logical. You tell yourself you'll start when the timing is better, when you're more prepared, when things feel safer. But Jack Ma's life proves something very uncomfortable. There is never a perfect moment, and waiting is the fastest way to lose everything you could have become. Jack Ma was not confident, not rich, not connected, and not even good at school by traditional standards. He failed exams again and again, was rejected by universities, and turned away from job interviews without explanation. If he had decided to wait until he felt qualified, his story would have ended before it began. Instead, he moved forward while feeling unsure, embarrassed, and afraid. That's the difference between people who build history and people who watch others build it. Procrastination is often disguised as thinking. You convince yourself that you're analyzing, planning, or researching, but deep down you know the truth. You're avoiding discomfort. Action is uncomfortable because it exposes you to failure, judgment, and uncertainty. Jack Ma accepted these things early. He understood that discomfort is the price of growth, and delaying discomfort only multiplies it. Every day you delay a decision, the weight of it becomes heavier. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is expected. Even Jack Ma admitted he was afraid many times. The real enemy is hesitation. When you hesitate, fear controls the narrative in your mind. It exaggerates risks, shrinks your abilities, and convinces you that tomorrow will somehow be easier. Tomorrow is never easier. Tomorrow simply becomes another excuse wearing a different name. The longer you wait, the more your confidence erodes. Confidence is not built by thinking about success. It is built by experiencing progress. Jack Ma didn't wake up confident one day. He earned confidence through repeated action, repeated failure, and repeated effort. Each small step forward rewired his belief system. Procrastination does the opposite. It trains you to doubt yourself. It teaches your brain that you don't follow through. Jack Ma believed deeply in small beginnings. Alibaba didn't start as a global empire. It started in a small apartment with people who believed enough to take action. Procrastination tells you that if you can't do something big, you shouldn't do anything at all. That belief destroys more potential than failure ever could. One imperfect step today is worth more than a perfect plan that never leaves your mind. Time is the most brutal judge of all. It does not care about your intentions, your excuses, or your unfinished plans. Jack Ma respected time because he knew it could never be recovered. You may think you are delaying for safety, but in reality, you are trading your future for comfort. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it leaves you empty later. Growth feels painful in the moment, but it rewards you forever. Every day you delay your plans, someone else is executing theirs. Someone with less talent, less education, and fewer resources is moving ahead simply because they decided to act. The world doesn't reward who deserves success. It rewards who takes responsibility. Jack Ma didn't blame circumstances. He adapted, adjusted, and acted. While others complained, he experimented. While others waited, he learned. Procrastination quietly shapes your identity. Over time, it convinces you that this is just who you are. Someone who starts later, someone who waits, someone who hesitates. That identity is not permanent unless you accept it. The moment you act, you break that pattern. The moment you move, even imperfectly, you regain control. Stop asking if you're ready. Readiness is created through action, not before it. Stop waiting for motivation. Motivation follows movement, Stop believing that confidence comes first. Confidence comes after you prove to yourself that you can act despite fear. Jack Ma didn't succeed because he knew the future. He succeeded because he refused to stand still. Right now, there is something you've been delaying. You know exactly what it is. A decision you've avoided, a project you've postponed, a risk you've talked yourself out of taking. That thing is not going away. It will follow you until you either face it or surrender to regret. This is your moment to choose differently. Not tomorrow, not when you feel better, not when circumstances change. Right now. Take one action that scares you. One action that moves you forward. One action that proves to yourself that you are done negotiating with procrastination. Strong call to action. Do not close this message and return to your old habits. Pause everything and act immediately. Write the first line, make the call, start the work. Share this message with someone who keeps delaying their dreams, then become the example they need. If you truly respect Jack Ma's mindset, prove it with action. Not later, not soon, but now. Most people don't destroy their dreams all at once. They slowly suffocate them through delay. Procrastination is quiet, patient, and extremely convincing. It whispers that you should wait a little longer, think a little more, prepare a little better. Jack Ma's life is proof that waiting does not create success, movement does. If he had waited to feel confident, intelligent, or accepted, the world would never have heard his name. Jack Ma was rejected repeatedly. Schools rejected him. Jobs rejected him. Opportunities seemed to pass him by without explanation. Yet he did not pause his belief in action. He understood something most people never learn. Rejection hurts, but hesitation is fatal. Every time you delay your plans, you are choosing comfort over progress. Comfort feels safe today, but it becomes regret tomorrow. Procrastination disguises itself as responsibility. You tell yourself you are being careful, realistic, or strategic. In reality, you are protecting yourself from discomfort. Action forces you to confront uncertainty, judgment, and the possibility of failure. Jack Ma embraced that discomfort early. He accepted that failure was not something to avoid, but something to walk through. The people who succeed are not fearless. They are simply unwilling to stay still. Fear grows when you give it time. The longer you delay, the louder it becomes. Your mind starts creating stories about what could go wrong. You imagine embarrassment, loss, rejection, and disappointment. Jack Ma didn't silence fear by overthinking. He silenced it by acting. Action interrupts fear. Even the smallest step forward weakens its grip. Thinking about action strengthens fear. Taking action destroys it. Confidence is not a gift you are born with. It is built through proof. Every time you act despite fear, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. Procrastination does the opposite. It trains your brain to believe that you won't follow through. Over time, that belief becomes your identity. Jack Ma rebuilt his confidence by doing what scared him repeatedly, not by waiting to feel brave. He believed deeply in small beginnings. Alibaba didn't start with power or prestige. It started with belief and action in a small space with limited resources. Procrastination convinces you that if your effort isn't perfect, it isn't worth starting. That mindset destroys momentum before it begins. One imperfect step today has more power than a flawless plan that lives only in your head. Time is not neutral. It is either working for you or against you. Jack Ma respected time because he understood that delay is not harmless. Every postponed decision is a silent choice to remain the same. You may feel like you are standing still, but in reality, you are falling behind. The world moves whether you do or not. While you hesitate, someone else with fewer skills is learning through action. Someone with less knowledge is improving through mistakes. Someone with less confidence is building it through experience. The world rewards execution, not intention. Jack Ma didn't win because he was the smartest person in the room. He won because he moved while others waited. Procrastination slowly erodes self-respect. Each delay sends a message to yourself that your goals are negotiable. Over time, that message becomes belief, but the moment you act, even imperfectly, that belief begins to crack. Action restores dignity. It reminds you that you are capable of directing your own life. Stop waiting for the perfect mood. Stop waiting for clarity. Stop waiting for approval. Jack Ma didn't have certainty. He had commitment. Commitment means acting even when you feel unsure, tired, or unprepared. Motivation follows movement, not the other way around. If you wait to feel ready, you will wait forever. Right now, there is something you've been postponing. You know exactly what it is. A plan you keep revisiting. A decision you keep delaying. A risk you keep talking yourself out of taking. That thing will not disappear. It will either become your breakthrough or your regret. You don't need to do everything today. You only need to do one thing, one step that breaks the pattern, one action that proves to yourself that procrastination no longer controls you. Jack Ma didn't change his life overnight. He changed it the moment he refused to stop moving. Strong call to action. Do not close this and move on. Stop scrolling. Stop delaying. Stand up right now and take one real action toward the plan you've been avoiding. Send the message, open the document, start the work. Share this message with someone who keeps waiting for the right time. Then become the example they need. If you respect Jack Ma's mindset, prove it with action right now, not later. Most people don't realize that procrastination is not a time problem. It's an identity problem. Every time you delay a plan, you quietly tell yourself that your goals are optional. Jack Ma's life shows the opposite way of thinking. He didn't treat his dreams as something to visit later. He treated them as something to act on now, even when everything around him said it wouldn't work. Jack Ma was never the smartest person in the room. He failed school exams, failed job interviews, and was rejected again and again. What separated him from millions of others wasn't talent or luck. It was his refusal to stop moving. While others waited for confidence, he acted with doubt. While others planned endlessly, he experimented. Procrastination would have ended his story before it started, but he chose action over comfort. Procrastination feels safe because it keeps you away from judgment and failure. But safety is expensive. The price is your potential. When you delay your plans, you're not protecting yourself. You're training yourself to stay small. Jack Ma understood that growth requires embarrassment, mistakes, and uncertainty. He didn't avoid these things. He walked directly through them. The mind loves excuses. It tells you that you need more information, more money, more connections, or more time. But information without action is useless. Money without movement means nothing. Time without discipline disappears. Jack Ma didn't wait for resources. He used what he had and built the rest along the way. Momentum creates resources, not the other way around. Fear becomes powerful when you give it space. The longer you wait, the louder it gets. It starts predicting failure, rejection, and loss. Action shuts fear down. Even a small step forward weakens its voice. Jack Ma didn't defeat fear by thinking positively. He defeated it by doing the work despite fear. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to move anyway. Every delay chips away at self-trust. You promise yourself you'll start tomorrow, then tomorrow comes and goes. Over time, you stop believing your own words. Jack Ma rebuilt self-trust by doing what he said he would do, even when results were slow. Confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself, not by waiting for perfect conditions. Small steps matter more than big intentions. Procrastination tricks you into believing that if you can't do something perfectly, you shouldn't start at all. That mindset kills momentum. Alibaba didn't begin as a global giant. It began as an imperfect idea acted on consistently. One step taken today is more powerful than 100 plans delayed until someday. Time doesn't pause for your hesitation. While you're waiting, the world keeps moving. Someone else is learning through mistakes you're avoiding. Someone else is gaining experience while you're planning. Jack Ma didn't win because he moved fast once. He won because he moved continuously while others stood still. Procrastination also steals clarity. You think you need clarity to act, but clarity comes from action. Jack Ma learned by doing, failing, adjusting, and trying again. The path becomes visible only after you start walking. Standing still gives you nothing but more doubt. There is a moment when delay turns into regret. Most people don't notice it happening. 1 year passes, then 5, then 10. The plan you once cared about becomes a what if. Jack Ma refused to let time decide his future. He decided through action. Right now, you are closer to your breakthrough than you think, but procrastination is standing in the way. The plan you keep delaying is not too big. You're just overthinking it. You don't need confidence first. You don't need permission. You don't need everything figured out. You need movement. The future doesn't belong to those who think the most. It belongs to those who act when it's uncomfortable. Jack Ma's mindset was simple. Do something today that moves you forward, then do it again tomorrow. Progress compounds, delay destroys. You already know what you need to do next. It's the thing you keep avoiding. That one action you've been negotiating with yourself about. That is where your growth is hiding. That is where your confidence will come from. Strong call to action. Do not wait another hour. Do not save this for later. Stand up right now and take one real action toward the plan you've been delaying. Open the file. Make the call. Start the task. Share this message with someone who keeps postponing their dreams. Then prove through your actions that procrastination no longer controls you. Stop planning your future and start building it now.